B'Shem Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach, Shiur Torah, Baruch Hashem, we're back starting a new week. We're continuing our Bitachon series. We only have a couple of lectures left in this specific series, the Bet Levi. The shiur will be for Refuah Shlema for David ben Nesriya, Doris bat Jora, Levana bat Sarah, Elisheva Chaya bat Sarah, Yochevet bat Batya, and all of Am Yisrael Be'ezrat Hashem will have Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, also a Refuah Shlema for Rav Ephraim ben Shulamit, Rabbanit Sarah bat Anat, and also Rabbanit Shulamit bat Jirjia, I think it is. And anybody else? All of Am Yisrael Be'ezrat Hashem, Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf. By the way, as a side note, in case people don't know, sometimes you have to tell people a few times the same thing, and we see it from the Torah. We see it from the Torah, for example, in this week's parasha. We're starting a new parasha, Parashat Re'eh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, in the beginning of the parasha, Re'eh anochi noten lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. את הברכה אשר תשמעו אל מצוות אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם היום, והקללה, אם לא תשמעו אל מצוות אדוני אלוהיכם, וסרתם מן הדרך אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם היום, ללכת אחרי אלוהים אחרים אשר לא ידעתם. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if you can get off the phone, that would be fantastic. See, I present before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing, that you hearken to the commandments of Hashem, your God, that I command you today. And the curse, if you do not hearken to the commandments of Hashem, your God, then you stray from the path that I command you today to follow gods of others that you did not know. So you see in this week's parasha, first and foremost, we've already heard this more than a few times. Kadosh Baruch Hu telling us once again, you have two options. There's no middle ground, there's no gray area with Hashem. He simply says, you have bracha, you have klala. He doesn't say, you have a half a bracha, you have like a middle-sized bracha, you have a small bracha, a big bracha, a mediocre bracha, a bracha with some rims on it. He doesn't say any of that. What does he say? You have bracha, or you have klala. Either your life is blessed, or it's cursed. Simple. He doesn't tell you, maybe there's nothing. Blessing or curse. But we heard this already. How many times are you going to tell us? Apparently we need to hear it a few times. We heard it already in Parashat Bechukotai. We told us we have blessings and blessings and blessings. Over a dozen verses of blessings. And then over almost 4 dozen verses of curses. Chazal says that the reason why there's only a dozen or so blessings blessings and so much more curses, it's not that there's so much more curses than blessings, is that we simply do not understand what a blessing is. So it'd simply be a waste of time and a waste of space in the Torah to detail the blessings. We wouldn't understand what it is anyway. So he gives us the basics, stuff we can understand, stuff that our human mind can understand. You know, money is a blessing? Okay, I'll give you money. Kids are a blessing? Okay, before you have them, you think it's a blessing. After, maybe 50-50, we'll see. Yeah, you think getting married is a blessing? Yeah, wait until you get married and she wakes you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and says, honey, do. I have an idea. What? I have an idea. It's 3 o'clock, I want to go to sleep. Oh, I have an idea. Sometimes they have an idea at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it tells you blessing or curse. Tells you a blessing or curse. We don't understand what blessings are. We don't understand what curses are. We think Hashem is joking about the curses. We heard the curses. Curses are scary. The Sharet Tshuva, Rabbi Yonah, says, in the beginning of the chapter, beginning of the book, he says there are some people that are so stupid that they don't think there's punishment. That's what he says. He says there's some people in the world, he says there's not that many. He lived 800 years ago. That's why he says there's not that many. There's not that many. But he says some people, they're so stupid, they don't think there's punishment, he says. As if Hashem didn't say it a bunch of times. Like as if it doesn't apply. So, we saw in Parashat Bechukotah, Kadosh Baruch Hu says there's blessings, there's curses. We saw in Parashat Kitavo, there's blessings, there's curses. We saw it in many other parashot. And if that wasn't enough, Hashem said it twice again here. If you noticed, he says, I present before you a blessing and a curse. Okay, finished. Okay. No. He says, not blessing and a curse. The blessing, if you do everything I say. But you said that there's a blessing or a curse. I know, obviously, if I do what you say, I'm going to get a blessing. Why are you mentioning it again? If there's a blessing of a curse, obviously, if I'm smart enough to understand what this verse is saying, you don't need to explain to me that the blessing goes along with me doing what you said, and the curse goes along with me going against what you said. Obviously, I understand. But no, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows his creation. He says you have a blessing and a curse. The blessing is if you do what I said. The curse is if you go against what I said. How come HaKadosh Baruch Hu thinks that we need to know that there's a blessing and a curse so many times? Because apparently, Rabotai, the human being, unless you repeat the instructions, when it comes to Kedusha, when it comes to things that are relevant to the purpose of life, unless you repeat it over and over and over and over again, it simply does not sink in for long enough. It goes in, you came to a shiur, you got a chizuk. Tomorrow, you have to start all over again. Yeah, but I got a whole chizuk for 3 hours. For the Rav, it's good, no? Yeah, it was good for today. The 2 hours, 3 hours you came to the shiur, that saved you from all the other garbage you could have done with those 3 hours. Tomorrow, you have to do something else. You have to go on YouTube, go type in Yaron Reuven, Parashat Re. Why? You have to learn a new Torah. Yeah, but I learned already Parashat Re. You have to learn it again. How many times? Until Mashiach comes. Unless you repeat it over and over and over and over again, it doesn't sink in. Why it doesn't sink in? Why? Something's wrong with us? No. There's nothing wrong with us. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, He created a Yetzer Hara. And the Yetzer Hara's job is a few different things. He's the Yetzer Hara, he's the Satan, he's the Malach HaMavet. The Gemara says in Masechet Brachot, all three are him. Yetzer Hara, his job is to get you to think about anything but HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Think about doing something else. Get away from Hashem. Listen, instead of Shiur Torah, go have a drink with the guys. You haven't seen him in a long time. Yeah, but Shiur Torah is good Shiur Torah. I can have a drink with the guys some other day. No, come on, the guys. What, you going to insult the guys? No, you come on. It's a kabed et avicha ve'et imecha, kabed et this one, all types of laws they're going to create for you that's connected to your friend somehow. Why? Listen, my friends. Yeah, but what about the Shiur Torah? Shiur Torah you can watch tomorrow. Yetzer Hara is going to get you off the road. After you fall for the Yetzer Hara now changes uniform. He becomes the Satan. Satan comes from the word mastin. Mastin means like he rats on you. He goes up to Shamayim, he becomes the prosecutor, he goes to Hashem. You see this Rasha of yours? What Rasha? Your son. Instead of going to the Shiur Torah, he went to have a couple of drinks with the guys. Can you believe it, Hashem? He desecrated your Torah. He went to have a couple of drinks instead of learning Torah, Shiur Torah for free. He didn't even have to pay for it. Not like Hillel had to pay all of his money to Shiur Torah. He had it for free. He didn't go, Hashem. But instead, he went to go see who knows what he saw in the bar, Hashem. This is what he did, your son. This is your son, Hashem. What an embarrassment in Shamayim you have. What an embarrassment a person has in Shamayim when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, his Father in heaven, watches this movie of his son leaving his Torah. Why? He could watch a game. He could watch football, Sunday night football. A bunch of overgrown men on steroids, they're going to probably die before the age of 55. Getting paid millions of dollars they're going to waste before They actually even end their career. Most of them declare bankruptcy within 4 years of retirement. And you're going to spend all your time, what? To go watch them instead of Shiur Torah. Hashem Yirachem. So now Hashem is not happy with this. So then Satan takes advantage. What do you say? Change his uniform again. Another uniform. Who we become? Malach HaMavet. Malach HaMavet says, Hashem, you know, somebody desecrates Torah. You said in your Torah. You said in your Torah, Hashem, Chayav Mita. Death penalty. No, Hashem, can I go to work? Can I go to work right now? So now we have to pray that we have some schuyot somewhere. We have a tzaddik grandfather, tzaddik grandmother, some mitzvah we did that we forgot about, some potential that we have, something that's going to fight for us against the Malach HaMavet. That's the job of the Yetzer Hara. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I have to remind you day after day that there is a bracha and there's a klala. Why? If I don't, you're going to just treat my Torah as if it's something you can study whenever you feel like it, whenever you get a chance, and treat it like it's a mundane manner, like it's something like a secular that you're learning, that whenever you get a chance you read the paper and watch the news, and just to keep up to date. And you're not going to treat it like it's life or death. You're not going to treat it like this is either the key to blessing or to curse. So unless I remind you over and over and over again, you're not going to get the point. So once again, Parashat Re'eh, he tells us again, there's a bracha and a klala. Now sometimes, when we don't take the teachings of HaKadosh Baruch Hu seriously enough, to the point of applying them, we could learn Torah every day. You can go to a kollel, you're going to see books 50 times more than here. The whole wall's full of books, there's no walls. Go to some place in Eretz Yisrael, there's nothing, there's just books. Books and people screaming, yelling, this, that, everybody's learning. You could sit among those people, and everybody's yelling. Somebody could be one of the Gedolei Hador, can sit right next to you. Another guy's a regular Avresh that started learning last week. All types of people in this kollel, all types of people. Old, young, Baal Tshuva, from birth, Hasidish, this, what, doesn't make a difference. You go to a kollel, you have all this Torah. You could be among them, but not for one day, not for 1 week, not for 1 month, not even for 1 year. 5, 10, 15 years. Learning among the best. And still stay the same behemah you started. Nothing changed. How could that be? How could it be that somebody could learn so much Torah among so many other fine people, but he stays the same animal that he started? Nothing changed. I heard a story from my Rav today. I'll give you this real life example told by the actual person in the act. The person that told the story told it after, unfortunately, seeing the wrath of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but learning a lot from it to at least get the second chance. There was 2 friends. Both of them were Bnei Torah, learning Torah, fulfilling mitzvot, both in Eretz Yisrael. And the guy says his name was Israel, and the other guy's name was Shalom. Now Israel, he was sharper. He was sharper than Shalom. Shalom was like a nice guy, but he wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. You know, it's like one of those really nice guys, always happy. What's going on? Oh, well, it could be collapsing. Baruch Hashem, everything's okay. Why? Yes, bitachon Hashem. But he's not going to be one of those guys that gives you a chidush. Listen, I found over here, this, that. You know, the snakes that went against Am Yisrael, that's actually the snakes that Hashem killed at the beginning of the journey 40 years before. He's not going to find you that. He's not going to find you a chidush like this. He's just basics. Basics, he understands basics, but he's always happy. Always happy guy. Israel, sharp. Always has an answer. Always has an answer. The guy is like a ninja. You got a question, he'll give you 3 answers. But he's never so he's not happy. Got always a complaint about somebody, about something. So anyway, these guys grow up, they go to school together, they're friends, they're close, they chit-chat, they go to kollel together, they're learning for a while together, like friends. As you would have it, both of them eventually get married. Shalom, the nicer, happier one, finds Mamash Bat Israel unbelievable. Something unbelievable. Such great midot, such a nice girl, wants only good, and she's just like him, always happy. She's not Einstein, but she's as happy as can be. What do you want to marry Einstein? Go marry Einstein. He's in the grave. Actually, his brain is in a few universities. They're still dissecting it. But anyway, hey, what are you going to marry? You want somebody that fulfills mitzvot, tznuah, tzadikah. What do you need? And Israel, he finds a girl similar to him, sharp. She has something to say. The truth is, though, Israel was jealous of Shalom. Even though Israel was the sharper with the chidush and with the this and with the that, he was jealous of little Shalom. Why? How are you so happy? How are you so happy all the time? You don't know anything. What are you happy about? You that dumb that you're happy? Like, how are you so happy? Israel was eating his heart out. How did you find such a girl that's so happy? My wife always complains nonstop. He says, he doesn't know, but he never says a thing. He eats his heart out year after year, year after year. He has no shlom bayit whatsoever. His wife is complaining nonstop, but he loves her. But she complains. She's like him. She's like him. Like Gemara Masechet Sotah says in the beginning, a guy is going to get the same thing based on his actions. If he's a tzaddik, I'll get a tzaddikah. If he's a rasha, I'll get a prutza. So if he's tzaddik, doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get a tzaddikah that's going to be perfect. He's not perfect, she's not perfect. He's righteous in certain aspects, he's weak in certain aspects, but we'll get somebody like him. I used to tell this always to my employees before Torah became my priority in life, that you always get your own, your customers are always like you. Your customers are always like you. You're an arrogant person, all your customers that will be attracted to you will be arrogant. You're a generous person, all your customers will be generous. You're a person, you like sports, your customers will like sports. That's the way it works in life. Your friends, your customers, that's the way it is in life in general. You attract things that are similar to you. So, one day, Israel can't take it anymore. He says, you know what? Every time I talk to this Shalom, I eat my heart out. Why am I going to continue talking to him? Let me just stop talking to him. So, he cuts off. He cuts him off. He stops answering his phone calls. You know, they both went on their way. They both live in different areas now. And Shalom calls from time to time to check in, but Israel is not picking up the phone. But Shalom is still happy in his life. He continues his life. He does his thing. One day, there's a big wedding in Bnei Brak, and Israel is invited. Israel goes to the wedding. He sits there. So all the rabbis there. All important people are there. And he's happy. He's at a very important event. He's happy to be there. But then he gets the surprise of his life. What? You see, Shalom was also invited. Little Shalom, that's always happy. It's not the biggest Talmid Chacham in the world, but he's always also invited. And he's walking towards him, happy as can be. He goes, my dear friend, how are you? I haven't seen you. I've been calling you for almost a year. You have everything okay? How are you? Israel couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take it. Because, what? How are you? How are you? Are you that stupid that you don't realize the world that goes around, what's happening in the world? Are you and your wife that dumb that you're always happy that you don't realize what's going on in the world? And he starts insulting him and breaking him to shreds. He says, you guys shouldn't have any kids. You're going to produce dumb kids just like you. And he tells him things, and there's people there. He rips him apart. So much so, the little Shalom is not happy anymore. And he's so sad that he turns around and he leaves. So now Israel feels like kind of feels a little, there's a little bit of a conscience left. You've been learning Torah for 25 years. You should have some conscience. You're not a Nazi. But the Yetzer Hara is still there working full time. You just paid a few bills for him. He says, yeah, listen, I was helping him after all. You should know he's dumb. You should know he's dumb. I'm helping him out after all. And he goes back to his business. Enjoys the event. And life goes on. A few weeks later, he thinks about it, maybe to call, maybe not to call. Doesn't call. No apology, nothing. Life goes on. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, things go on. 6 months later, Israel's wife crosses the street with 2 of their little kids. One is 4 years old, and one is a 1-year-old baby in a carriage. Out of nowhere, a car appears full speed, runs all 3 of them over. The baby flies in the carriage, but the carriage protects him. Mamash, miracle from heaven. The 4-year-old, critical condition. The mom, almost dead on the spot. They call Israel, you have to come to the emergency room. What happened? What happened? You have to come. There's been an accident. He runs to the emergency room. Doctor says, listen, I'm sorry. Your wife is going to die. Your wife is going to die. Your 4-year-old is in critical condition. But by the grace of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, your 1-year-old just has scratches. Saved. But you have to go say goodbye to your wife. There's no saving her. Israel loses his mind. He breaks down completely, starts screaming hysterical in the place, ripping his hair out. All of the things that he learned, all the things he did, everything goes in the garbage. Right now, in the moment of truth, that's all he knows. The love of his life that gave him problems, that gave him headaches, that arguments and everything is about to die. He can't take it. With the arguments and everything, he loves her. What? It's my wife. No. Can't take it. She dies. He tells himself that at the Levaya, they dug the hole in the ground and he jumped in the hole. He didn't want them to bury her. He couldn't do it. Mamash completely lost his mind. He started giving him shots to calm him down. Eventually, his 4-year-old comes out of it miraculously, but he can't handle raising both of them, and they're raised by his parents. But his whole life just went upside down. Everything went to the garbage. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He goes into a manic depression. Life as you would know it goes from being fantastic to being a nightmare. The love of his life is gone. His 2 kids, he can't even have a normal relationship with them. He doesn't know what to do. One day, he hears that there's a tzaddik. He didn't mention the tzaddik's name, but there's a good indication that it's one of the Gdolei Ador that passed away recently, Rav Steinemann. Said that he could talk to him. So he comes to speak to Rav Steinemann, and because he's still in his craziness, he has no patience, no care in the world for any decency. He cuts off everyone, and he says to the Gdolei Ador, he says, listen, everybody knows that you Gdolim, you're all old. You're going to die soon. So please do me a favor. When you die, when you go up to Shamayim, you go up to God, you tell him, why did he do this to me? I want to know why he did this to me. And I want you to come to me in a dream and tell me why he did it to me. And the Gdolim, they don't get riled up by crazy people. They see crazy people every day. If someone katan like me sees 100 of them a day, imagine how much the Gdolim get. The Gadol says to him with a straight face, no problem. I promise you. Not a month passed by and the Gadol passed away. Delivering on his promise, this Avrech named Israel. Says 3 months later, the Gadol appeared to him in a dream. And he tells him to, like he indicates for him to come with him. And he brings him to a wedding. Very fancy wedding, big fancy hall. Looks familiar. And he sees all these people I know, all these different people. And then he sees himself with his old friend, Shalom. And he sees himself destroying Shalom to pieces with all of the insults you could possibly have in the book about how dumb he is, and how this he is, and how that he is, and he rips him apart. And the Gadol Hador simply points at this, and Israel gets the message. That's the reason why God did it to you. That's why Kadosh Baruch Hu did it to you. The guy wakes up from this dream. He starts hysterical crying, goes to the grave, starts hysterical. He takes a Sefer Tehillim at the grave and reads it for 5 hours straight until he finished it. The amount of tears he says that he had could have filled a small pool. Completely shattered. He knows the whole thing is his fault, nobody else's. After 5 hours of breaking down, he gets up, gets out of the place, and right at the door, he sees nobody other than Shalom. He sees his old friend Shalom. And Shalom is not as happy to see him as he used to be, but he says, oh, hi, how are you? You okay? You don't look so good, Israel. He goes, what are you doing here, Shalom? Why are you here? He goes, oh, I just come to pray. Please, give me some time. He goes, no, I just got 2 minutes to pray and I gotta go. Please, I gotta go. I can't. Shalom doesn't want this venom from this guy again. You already got enough from him. He goes, no, please, Shalom, if our friendship for 25 years means anything to you at all, please, just give me a few minutes of your time. He says, okay, fine. He sits down and he starts telling him everything I just told you. He says, listen, I couldn't stand it that you were always happy. I couldn't stand it how you always had like something like going on as if you knew this big secret. You always had like everything. You didn't know much, but you knew everything at the same time. I couldn't take it. And I took everything on you and I ruined my life. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me, I ruined my life. Hashem took my wife. And now even my kids I barely see. Shalom looks at Israel and he says to him, you know, Israel, I'm sorry all this happened to you, but you have to also understand my side. You see, for all those years that I was with my wife, for 10 years, I had shalom bayit. We're always happy with each other. No matter what, money, no money, doesn't make a difference. We're always happy. But that night, after you said what you said, because I valued your opinion so much, you are my chacham. I valued you so much that when I got home, I didn't see my wife the same again. And from that moment on, there was no shalom bayit. The shalom bayit went to the garbage. We start arguing arguments that we've never had before. Suddenly we have differences we never knew. So my shalom bayit that you were so jealous of, I lost it too. Sorry you lost your wife, but we were on the verge of getting a divorce. Eventually we started going to some big rabbis, they started counseling us, and only a few months ago did we finally reconcile and everything started going back to normal again. Israel says, wait a minute, what do you mean a few months ago? How long exactly? He goes, no, a few months ago, I don't know, 6 months ago. He goes, no, tell me exactly the date. He says, a date, probably this specific. The exact day that the Shlom Bayit came back is the day that Israel's wife died. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Israel a certain amount of time to fix the Shlom Bayit that he destroyed. Israel did not get the message. He gave him 1 message, 2 messages, 3 messages, 4 messages. It doesn't make a difference. He didn't get the message. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you destroy the Shlom Bayit, I'll destroy your Shlom Bayit. But I'll have to fix the old one. So he fixed the old one too. But I gave you the opportunity. When they realized this, when they realized the hand of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this, they understood the message. They started crying and hugging each other and befriended each other. And just several months later, Shalom introduced Israel to his cousin. They ended up getting married and rebuilding a new family. The new wife took care of the 2 kids from the previous marriage. They had a few kids together. Right now, I believe they have 4 kids, Baruch Hashem. And he wrote this story, explaining to people how much of a danger it is to have just a little bit of jealousy that's uncontrolled. Because where did it start from? It started from jealousy. Jealousy of something that you don't have. And Rabotai Yekarim, this is a story from the guy himself. If he wasn't a Ben Torah, he would never even see the signs nor the solution. But just because you learn Torah doesn't necessarily mean that you see them live, unless you work on it on a regular basis. Now the Bet HaLevi says that bitachon will save you from jealousy. And he says that in addition to all of the other benefits of having bitachon that we've already discussed, one who has bitachon will be rescued from jealousy. Because jealousy is what makes the bones rot, according to Shlomo HaMelech, chapter 14, verse 30 of Mishlei, Proverbs. Jealousy, Rabotai Yekarim, is one of the things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu detests. So much so that if a person dies without doing tshuva for jealousy, he's only guaranteed one thing. He will not be resurrected with the dead. One of the 13 principles of faith is that you have to believe that there will be a resurrection of the dead after the Mashiach comes. If a person dies with even a jealous bone in his body, that bone cannot be resurrected. If his entire body is jealous, meaning he simply thinks that it's okay to be jealous of people that have more money than him, that have more wisdom than him, that have more anything than him. He's jealous of other people. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you lose your right to be resurrected. Why? Because that jealousy, the venom of jealousy, will rot his bones to nothing. When one has bitachon and is convinced that everything Hashem does is good, there is no longer any place for jealousy. A patient does not get angry at the doctor for giving him one medicine and to his friend a second medicine. It's understood that the doctor recognizes that each illness is different and requires a different medicine. Hashem gives each person what is uniquely good for him. One of the most difficult things for a human being to understand is why HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives each one of us a different medicine. Each one of us looks at somebody else's good and feels if I should have that too. Anytime you admire people's cars, I remember when I was a kid, people love talking about, young kids love talking about the fancy schmancy cars they see in the street. Oh, you see Steve's new this car, you knew that car, he got a new GT, you know, new PT, new something, new this, new. All day they talk about cars. To such an extent, they started calling the guys by the name of the car. Oh yeah, that's Steve GT. No, that's Steve Mustang. No, that's Steve. There's like 18 Steves, but all of them are not Steve Jones and Steve Smith. No, that's Steve Mustang. That's Steve Beamer. That's Steve Benz. All these different Steve, but they have a car name behind them. That's the last name. In reality, what are they doing all day? Looking at people's stuff. Looking at their car. Looking at their life. And not admiring it like, oh, good for him. He has a nice car. Oh, good for him. He has a nice house. Oh, good for him. He has a nice life. No. When you look at other people's stuff to such an extent that you remember it as if it's something important, that means that you're beyond admiration. You're jealous. You feel that it should be given to you, that you should have this BMW, that you should have this 3-4-story house, that you should have this big bank account, that you should be the one that's on TV getting recognition for something you did, that you should be the one that gets attention at the shul for doing something good. When you remember other people's major life events, that means that it's beyond admiration. It's at a point of jealousy and envy. And that, Rabotai, is a spiritual cancer that kills people on a day-to-day basis. So much so that if a person does not control their anger, control their jealousy, they can get to a point of losing their mind, just like our dear friend Israel did. At a moment of weakness, he embarrassed his best friend in public and ended up suffering greatly for it. Now, many people say that they believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They'll even tell you there's different sgulot. There's a sgula that you'll hear often that says, if you think about the few words from the Torah, it says, En od milvado. There's nothing else but Him. There's nothing else but Hashem. If you constantly think that there's nothing else but HaKadosh Baruch Hu, nothing in the world can hurt you. No terrorist can hurt you. No financial crisis, nothing can hurt you. You become untouchable if you're constantly thinking about it. It's so powerful that it's constantly a sgula that they teach to people. Listen, you want protection? Think enod milvado. Enod milvado. Enod. Constantly. They made little cards that people have in their wallets. Some people made a bracelet out of it, a chain out, all types of things. Enod milvado. Sometimes you see it on shuls, on Aron HaKodesh. Enod milvado. There's nothing else but Hashem. It's fantastic. It works if you really think about it. One time there was a rabbi that he taught this to his students. He tells them, listen, you should think this, there's nothing but Hashem, and nothing can hurt you. So as they're walking, they get to a dark aisle, a dark road somewhere, and they're walking outside, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this huge dog appears without a chain, without an owner, without anything, and he has two eyes looking at the rabbi. And the rabbi identified those eyes. Those eyes look hungry. That's what he identified. At that moment, the rabbi all of a sudden became a track runner. He started running, climbed the tree. Dude, the students saw the rabbi run away. They ran away too. The dog was hungry, but he didn't feel like running. He saw they're all running away. Okay, they don't want to play. Okay, fine, I'll go somewhere else. Fine, easy customer. So the dog goes away. After they see that the dog runs away, they come down, and they, one of the students, it's a little, clever little student, says to the rabbi, he goes, Kvod Harav, why'd you run? He goes, what do you mean? There's a dog. He goes, yeah, but didn't you just teach us that if you say En od milvado, there's nothing but Hashem, that nothing bad can happen to you? He goes, yeah. So why didn't you use that? He says, oh, it's a good question, my son. I used it, but I climbed for extra emunah, for extra insurance, just in case, for extra insurance. Rabbi Ephraim says, if you feel the need to do something for extra insurance, that means that your current policy is not good enough. It's lacking. A lot of people talk about emunah, a lot of people love to discuss emunah and bitachon and things of that nature. But in reality, very, very few among us actually have emunah or bitachon at all. You see it in your day-to-day life. People ask all the time, should I buy a life insurance policy? Really, first of all, you should know, we used to have a business. I know a little bit about life insurance. We used to have an insurance agency. In reality, it's a lie to begin with. Why? It shouldn't be called life insurance. It should be called death insurance. Why? They only pay you if you die. Second of all, you only get paid if you die according to their description. Because if you die in some description they don't agree with, they don't pay you. But anyway, should you buy life insurance? Should you not buy life insurance? So there are some chachamim say that you could buy some life insurance, gives your family some money, in case a person dies and he's the one that's providing for the family. So there's no problem in buying life insurance. Where's the problem? The problem when you become crazy. When you pretty much start planning things and start buying life insurance to the extent where you show that you simply want to run the world and you have no assurance whatsoever that Hashem knows what he's doing. So what does the guy do? He buys one life insurance. Broker comes to him and says, "Hi, Mr. Goldberg, buy life insurance. It's only X amount of money every month. If you die, your family's going to get $500,000, $1 million, whatever it's going to get." Okay, so he buys the policy. But then the guy says, you know what? Maybe it's not enough. This $500,000 policy, there's inflation, things go up, things go down, market up, down. Maybe I need more. He has $5 to his name. The fact that they gave him a $500,000 policy is a mistake. But he says, you know what? Maybe I need more. Maybe I need more. So he calls another insurance company. And he buys more insurance. Why? Just in case, inflation, prices go up, prices this, prices that. He buys more insurance. Now this is a broker's best friend. Customer keeps coming back for more stuff. But then he says, you know what? The market has been going up for 10 years straight. Eventually it's going to crash. Once it crashes, it's probably going to be another bailout. Banks are going to crash. Insurance companies, everybody's going to crash. How am I going to get insurance from these companies? They're not that strong, these insurance companies I bought it from. They're like, A-, B-rated companies. I need to be with the best. I need more insurance. I need more insurance. Why? Because if these companies, they go down, who's going to pay my life insurance? He buys a third insurance. By who? The best company. The best company. So now he has 3 policies. More time passes. He says, you know what? I'm not really sure this is enough. Because I have this company, that company, this company, but all these companies are known. Maybe I need to get something unknown. Like some guy that's unknown. And he goes and he buys some unknown brand, some unknown policy, just in case the first 3 fail. And the unknown, because he doesn't have as much surplus and as much money and so on and so forth, the policy of the unknown is more expensive than the known. How much more expensive? 10 times more expensive. If he paid $500 with the best brand, he's paying $5,000 with the unknown brand. Now, how many of you, by a raise of hand, would do the same thing as him? Nobody's raising a hand so far. Either you're sleeping or you disagree. You disagree with his strategy? Yeah. You sure?
I'm not going to get the money anyways.
Why are you not going to get the money?
It's life insurance. Yeah, what's the money good for?
Well, the family. You have kids, you have family, you have money. Do you want to take care of your family?
And if you're single?
If you're single, you still have somebody that you care about. If you don't care about anybody, you didn't buy the insurance in the first place. I'm talking about people that have families. People that have families, imagine yourself having a family, you have a wife, you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 19 kids. You have a house or 2, you have a car or 2, you have stuff that you want to pay for once you die. Assume that you actually need the insurance. Not necessarily that much, but you have people that you care about. This is a make-pretend story, guys. I didn't give you a family yet. Point is, would you buy 4 policies like this guy? But the most important question is, would you, after you bought the first 3, from 2 mediocre companies, the best company of the best, and then you put 10 times more money for the worst policy in the world? Would you do the same thing? Michael over here is raising his hand. He's not really sure. He's either raising his hand because he's outstretched his arm, or he's agreeing that he's doing it. Why are you doing it, Michael? Why?
Well, unintentionally we do it.
Why? Why are you doing it?
We have this inherent doubt that's corrupted us. So the insurance is allegorical. It's we create one layer of defense against another layer, and the last layer of defense is the most unrealistic of all, because we really truly believe that God is running the show. So.
Michael should be giving some shurim one day. Zat Hashem. So now, Rabotai Yekarim, Baruch Shekivanta. What's the story? The story is, Rabotai, in reality, we are the idiot that keeps buying the insurance policies. And worse yet, we pay the most amount of money for the worst policy in the world. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the best policy in the world. The best policies, the biggest companies, they usually have a decent amount of discount. Why? They have a surplus amount of money, backings, and so on and so forth. They're okay with what they're doing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is even better than that. He's free. All you gotta do, pray, do his mitzvot. He already promised you time and time again, your life will be full of blessings. But what do? We did a few mitzvot, but we still want some insurance. We want to make sure, okay, we're going to get a job. And we're going to do a little investment. That's the first 2 policies. And yeah, we're going to pray and, we're going to do some mitzvot. Well, fine, we'll do that too. But then, just in case it doesn't work, where do we go? We go to people. The worst policy in the world. We go and put all of our trust in the worst insurance company on the planet. What is it? People. We put all of our faith, all of our trust, all of our future relying in people. How so? HaKadosh Baruch Hu said you're going to have a blessing, you're going to have a blessing. But you don't believe him. Why? You got the job. But you're only getting paid $20 an hour. And $20 an hour was good when you were 18. Now that you're already older, you got a kid or 2, 3, 4, you have stuff, $20 an hour is not enough anymore. You want a raise. How am I going to get a raise? I don't know the boss's family or this one or that one. So you try to figure out, how do I get a raise? Oh, you know what's the best way to get a raise? I'm going to be a khanfan. You know what a khanfan is? A kiss up. You see the boss? Hi, sir. How are you? Here's the coffee for you, sir. Here's the coffee for you. Oh, you didn't... I have the other one, too. I have 2 cups. Just in case. With milk, without milk. Start kissing up to people. Start giving them some extra credit, even though they don't deserve a single penny. Why? He's in charge of the money. If I'm nice to him, and I kiss up to him, maybe he'll donate. Maybe he'll give me a raise. Maybe he'll do this. Maybe he'll do that. And we kiss up to people, Rabotai Yekarim, forgetting that there's a mitzvah in the Torah that you're forbidden from kissing up to people. You're forbidden from being a khanfan. Unfortunately, people do this day in, day out. Both rabbis and regular people alike. You see a gvir walking into a shul, all of a sudden everybody says, oh, how are you? How are you? Why did you say, how are you to the average guy that has $5 in his pocket? How come, if you're already going to do, how are you with the whole show, do it to everybody. No, but that's the gvir. That's the rich guy. Now, yes, of course, you have to give people respect, but don't go out of the way. Problem is that we go out of our way. We forget that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the best insurance company in the world. And that's what David HaMelech tried to tell us on Tehillim 146, verse number 3. Where he says, Al tiftechu benedivim beben adam she'en lo tshua, תצא רוחו ישוב לאדמתו, ביום ההוא עבדו עשתונותיו. David HaMelech says, do not rely on nobles, nor on a human being, For he holds no salvation. When his spirit departs, he returns to the earth. On that day, his plans all perish. Meaning, even if this guy is a noble, meaning he's a nice guy, he's a righteous guy, he's a good guy, he's very generous, don't rely anything on him. Why? Only in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Only in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're only allowed to rely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But not just when it comes to money. When it comes to everything. Whether it's a zivug, or it's a shidduch in general, or it's kids, or it's refuah. Everything and anything you have to rely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Anytime we don't, we're simply killing ourselves. We're killing ourselves to such an extent that we start looking at other people's stuff and we're thinking, wait, since he has such a fancy schmancy car and since he has such a big house, maybe he can help me also get a fancy car and a fancy house. Forgetting and removing HaKadosh Baruch Hu from the equation altogether. Since he has this company, maybe he could be the one that's going to invest in my company. So, when the guy, you see the caller ID from him, all of a sudden, oh, guys, shut up, everybody shut up. Donnie's calling. Okay, guys, listen, Donnie's calling. He's a regular guy. No, be quiet. This could be it. This could be it. All of a sudden, he loses all of his cool. Donnie's calling. Somebody's calling. He loses his mind. Rabotai, at that moment when you've simply silenced everyone else, you've also silenced HaKadosh Baruch Hu by giving Dani too much credit, thinking that your salvation can only come from him. It's a very dangerous thing that every single one of us has done and probably does on a regular basis without even knowing it. Where we give too much credit to customers, to donors, to investors, to potential employers, to all types of people, as if the salvation is coming from them, instead of actually realizing that it's simply a Kadosh Baruch Hu using them to help us. All they do is decide whether they're going to be the vessel that Hashem uses to run His world. That's all that's in our hands. All that's in our hands is our decision of whether we will be the vessel that Hashem uses to fulfill His will. If it's a donation, if it's an investment, if it's anything else. You say, okay, I want to donate. I want to donate $5,000. Okay, great, Chazaku Baruch. You have a desire to donate. Now Kadosh Baruch Hu evaluates your merits. Do you have a merits of a tzaddik? Or do you have the merits of a bunny rabbit? What merit do you have? What have you done in your life? If you have merits of a tzaddik, Hashem is going to make sure that that $5,000 goes to the right place. That is going to sanctify His name. Something that helps people do good things. Learn Torah, do tshuva, and so on and so forth. If you have the merit of some bunny, then guess what? You could still donate the $5,000, no problem. But you'll be donating to the Christian Jewish Alliance, to the Red Cross, where 99 cents out of every dollar go to the CEO's salary, to some Hanukkah party at some Reform shul. That's what the $5,000 will be donated. No problem. You can still donate. But where's the destination? Now, many times you see us in the world where we get excited when we hear what people donated. Oh, he just donated $18 million. Maybe he could donate to you. That's what people tell me all the time. He goes, oh, listen, I have this rich uncle. He just donated this amount of money. Maybe he could call him and he could donate to you. Reality is, Rabotai, it doesn't work that way. Just because somebody has money does not mean that they could simply donate wherever they want. Merit goes along with it. If a person has merit, Hashem will designate that donation to a good place that Hashem wants. If not, that donation will go to a bad place. Many times I meet rich people, And they're always disappointed in meeting me. Rich people are constantly disappointed in meeting me. Not that I meet people so often, but every time I meet them, they get disappointed. Why? Because I treat them just like everybody else. I say hi to them, I say hi to the next person, I pass through them as if they're just like everybody else. You have something that I can help you with, I can help you with. But as far as the, hi, how are you, nothing. Oh, can you call me? No. Oh, can you come to my house? No. Why, can you do that? No. If there's an emergency, I'm there, I'm the first one. I'm at your house at 3 o'clock in the morning. But if it's just to socialize, to want to give you your honors for being rich and chazaku baruch for all the wonders that you've done in the world, I'm sorry, I'm not the guy. Why? I have emergencies to deal with. But that's a disappointment for rich people. Why? Because there's 500 rabbis that are doing it. There's 500 other people that are doing it. Why? Because everybody else thinks, hey, listen, if I give this rich guy the kavod, he'll donate. You're right, he'll donate to you. To you, he'll donate. To me, he'll never donate. Why? You have to have merit to donate, to help people do tshuva. Hanukkah parties, no merit at all. The bunny has as much merit as the rich people. And that's why it stopped being disappointing when we meet rich people and nothing comes out of it. I met a guy that's worth maybe $100 million just 2 weeks ago. Maybe more. Anyone wants to volunteer an answer of how much he donated after the impressive meeting and the long letter that he wrote me of how I changed his life? Go ahead.
$80.
$80. No, Michael, you usually have better answers than $80. No, tell me. $1,800. He's worth $100 million, Michael. $1,800, you're cheap. No? Who else?
100,000.
100,000.
Zero.
Zero. Chazaku Baruch. He's been watching for the last couple of years. Rest of you guys are just sleeping at the wheel. Zero. Why? That's the way it works. That's the way it doesn't. For me, when I first heard this, when I first learned this years ago, Baruch Hashem, I said, no, this doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? That's the way it works. That's the way it works. You have to have merit to donate to the right designation. That's the way it works. This is a lesson to all of us. Especially some of you young people that are going to go into the work world. You're going to go work. You're going to go make money. You're going to go do something. Don't be a khanfan. Don't be a kiss-up because some guy is the boss and he has a 3-piece suit that's worth $3,000-$4,000. Do your job. That's enough. Do your job. Be nice. Be cordial. Be polite. That's enough. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't be a kiss-up. Aside from it being disgusting, it's also a sin from the Torah. We have to understand, if you're going to put all of the credit and all of the power in the hands of people, you'll fall into their hands instead of the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why we have to constantly remind ourselves that jealousy is not just simply being jealous of somebody else's stuff and therefore I'm eating my heart out for years. Jealousy works in different ways. It eats the bones in different ways. It's also leads a person to think that, wait, if he has all this stuff, then he could also be my salvation because he has all this money and he has this position and he has this and he has that. Yes, maybe no. Who has the answer? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why the Bet Levi finalizes and he says, having bitachon will save a person from all of the sins relating and to dealing with other people in monetary matters, such as stealing, cheating, unjust measures, usury. What's unjust measures? The way that it was applied years ago is that when you bought something from the market, you bought it based on weight. So the Gemara says that if the scale is hollow, the scale that weighs the things is hollow, it's tameh. You're not allowed to use it. Why? Because what they would do, the thieves, is that they would put, it was hollow, they would put some weights, some extra weights on one of the sides, so it would make the food that you're putting on there look like it weighs a lot more and therefore more expensive. So in essence, you're buying, let's say, 1 pound worth of food, but you're paying for it as if it's 5 pounds. But in today's world, it's not that different. In today's world, it's called bait and switch. Generally speaking, if you go to the market, no one really cares enough to change the scale. No one really cares enough, even the goyim. Why? It's not worth it. First of all, a lot of things are digital. A lot of the scales are digital. You can play with it if you want. What are you going to get yourself? An extra 10 cents, an extra 20 cents? Yeah, if you're that busy, if you're a supermarket busy, then okay, after 1,000 customers, it'll make a difference. But in reality, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Supermarkets, doesn't make that much of it. Yeah, here and there. Where does it make a difference? You go to the gas station where you have thousands of customers every day, so sometimes they'll play with the machine, and instead of it being $2.99 a gallon, it's really, it's really $3.09. Or perhaps it's the opposite. You're paying for a gallon, but really you're getting 90 cents on a gallon, or something like that. So they'll play with it in such a place like that. Or perhaps they'll play with it in different companies that sell people things that are brand new price, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, but in reality, it's a refurbished product. It's a refurbished product. So you bought a phone, it says Apple on it. It has all the stickers, it has all the bags, it looks brand new. In fact, it looks even better than brand new. But in fact, what is it? Someone used it for 3, 4, 5 weeks. The screen broke. He sent it back to the company. The company is not going to go and fix every single little phone. Too much money, too much time. So what do? They take all the phones that are returned, they throw them in one huge bucket, send it to a company to refurbish them. They sell them to the bucket, and they just send you a brand new phone. So you really did get a brand new phone. But that phone that you send back goes to some other company. That other company bought it for a discount, refurbishes it by getting a new glass on the phone, and now sells it as refurbished. But then somebody doesn't like refurbished price. So what he'll do, he'll buy it on eBay for, let's say, $300, because it's refurbished after all. It's not $1,000 anymore. And then he'll say, brand new phone, $900 only. You could save 10% from the store. He sells it as brand new. Why? Because he took off all the stickers and he has all the equipment to make it look like it's brand new. And it looks brand new. In fact, it acts brand new. But it's not. That's also stealing. That's also a reason for somebody to come back in a reincarnation just for that until he pays all that money back to every one of his customers. That, Rabotai, is another person that does not have bitachon in Hashem and feels the need to steal money because he does not believe that he is going to get the right amount of parnasah, the right amount of sustenance, unless he steals. Unless he takes advantage of other people. And he's just being a filthy liar by doing it. There are many people that do this. I remember when I was on Wall Street, I dealt with a lot of lawyers. I spent over $500,000 just on lawyers. And one time, one of my lawyers, this woman named Asmara, nice lady, we had some case of something happening. I think we were opening another company or whatever it was. A contract I think I had. And so the conversation itself was literally 5 minutes, if that much. But then we continued talking because she was a nice person, and I talked, and we just started just socializing on the phone. Continued for a little over maybe an hour. Now, when you use big lawyers and they bill you, you don't send them the money the same day. They send you an invoice at the end of the month, and they tell you all the hours that they worked for you. And they give you, I worked for you on Monday from 2 to 3, on Tuesday from 3 to 4, on Wednesday from 9 to, and they give you all the time that they worked. So when you see a bill, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, usually you pay, but sometimes you want to review, how'd you pay, why? So I got this bill, and I'm looking at the bill, and I remember specifically that day, because after that call, for some reason, I said, wait a minute, is she going to bill me for the hour that we just talked about personal stuff? And I was like kind of embarrassed to ask her. So I figured, nah, she's not going to bill me. I said, you know what? Let me see. And I marked it on like one of those little post-its on the side. Remember this date from this time to that time. Are you getting billed? When I got the invoice, I got billed. I get billed $900 for having a personal conversation. Why? Time is money. Time is money. Yeah, you can socialize all you want, but you got to pay me. That's the way it works. Abutai, that also is unjust. Why? If you're going to have a personal conversation and charge somebody for it, you have to tell them first. No one is under the assumption that it's going to be costly to have a personal conversation. No one. If you're going to charge somebody $1,000 for having a personal conversation, whatever amount of money, for having a personal conversation, you have to let them know ahead of time. You can't assume that they know, or assume that they won't notice or they won't care. This is also one of the reasons that, one of the ways that we show lack of bitachon, lack of trust in Hashem, where people have gone to the point where they feel the need to cheat the system, to step on top of people and over people in order to get ahead. Almost every single business you're going to see in the street is cheating somebody. It's just a reality. It's not even an accusation. It's simply a reality. They're either cheating their customers by selling them used goods that's new, or they're selling them something that's completely fake altogether. They'll sell them Nike, but in reality it's Mikey. They're selling them, a Dodge, but in reality it's Fudge. It's two completely different things, but they bought it from China, but they say it's made in USA. It's like the wig business, for example. The wig business, they tell you it's made in Europe. In reality, it's India. But why? How do they get India to say it's made in Europe? They send it to Europe, and everybody knows it's in a trade business. If you're an import-export, as soon as something goes to another country, all you need to do is tie another knot. That's it. One little string. Once you put one little string, one little sew into anything, it becomes officially made over there. Yeah, but the whole thing is made over somewhere else. No, sir. It's made in Spain. It's made in Brazil. Brazil? What Brazil? There's no bald people in Brazil. How are the wigs coming from Brazil? Sir, Brazil. Why? They put a hair of some dog somewhere in some place, and that's made in Brazil from now on. Why? Because if we say it's made in India, no one's going to buy it. Abutai, that's what's happened. So they cheat people. They cheat good people, they cheat bad people, they cheat everyone. This is happening everywhere. But what do you think? The people are victims? No. Midah keneged midah. Measure for measure. People that get cheated themselves. Either they cheated other people, or they're cheating Hashem on a daily basis, or both. Every business you're going to go to is cheating somebody. Why? Because people do not have bitachon in Hashem. They simply feel the need to cheat. The accountant is going to not be so careful on the timing or the money, and he's going to charge an extra $200-300 without, maybe you won't notice this one, maybe this, maybe that. He promised you one thing, he gave you something else. The lawyer will charge here. The doctor will not show up. Will tell you to come at 2, and by the time he sees you, it's 4:30. Oh, wow, you've been sitting for 2.5 hours? Oh, I'm sorry. What, I'm sorry? You just wasted 2.5 hours of my time. You know how much money I make? I make $3,000 an hour. You're going to just waste 2.5 hours of my time. You got to let me know ahead of time. You're just going to throw my time away? That's what people do. Why? Because, Rabotai, we simply don't care about anyone else but ourselves. So much so that we think that it's okay to cheat. It's okay to cheat if you want to get ahead. It's very, very hard to find honest people. Very hard. Only person you're going to find that's truly honest is someone that has a lot of yirat shamayim. A lot of fear of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not a fear of man. He's not afraid of the government. He's not afraid of people. He's not afraid of society. He's not afraid of the community. None of that stuff. He's only afraid of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Someone that's truly afraid of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? That's the only fear that works all the time. If he's afraid of society, okay, so as soon as he goes to a different town, he becomes Esav. Okay, so he's afraid of the community. But as soon as he goes to Vegas on vacation, he becomes somebody else. This is what's happening sometimes, by the way, in religious communities. My Rav told me a story. His Rabbi told me they went to a pool. Now, obviously, pools for religious people are different than for the secular world. There's no boys and girls. There's just pools for women. You want to go to a pool for men, it's a completely different area. Not different place within the same area, like completely different place. different building, different block, different community. But the Rabbanit says she went to the pool with the little girls, and she said that in this pool, even if you go to a pool, you still have to be modest. She says that there were certain girls that come from religious homes that literally looked like they never said Shema Yisrael in their life. They don't know anything. Why? Literally, they almost came naked. Like, how? But I mean, you're religious. What does that mean? How do you go from this to this? What do you think? Just because you're in a pool, you could be like this? She said that the Arabs that came to the pool were more modest than these girls. Meaning what? Meaning that people that so easily abandon their life, their lifestyle, and their beliefs so quickly means that their life, their lifestyle, and their beliefs are like a burden to them. They're not really something that they believe in. They're not really something that they hold dear. It's just something that they do because of their fear of the community and of society. And that's why you see many times people that leave their community, they go somewhere else on vacation. You see religious people go to somewhere else where nobody knows them and they act like a completely different person. All of a sudden he likes gambling. All of a sudden he likes clubs. All of a sudden he likes this, he likes that. What do you mean? In your community you were the guy that was the chazan all the time. How are you over here on a beach? This is because we have not ingrained the Torah into our veins, into our life, to the extent where we actually really believe in it, and we believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching all the time. When someone knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching all the time and fears HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you can trust that person with anything. Why? Because it doesn't matter where he is. He knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching. It doesn't matter what time it is. He knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is awake. He doesn't go to sleep. It doesn't matter at what item it is, because he knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is involved in everything and anything. And a person that has fear of Hashem will be somebody that you can deal with. How do you find somebody who has fear of Hashem? Usually he learns a lot of Torah. Usually she's involved in a lot of Torah. It's not going to be a person that's going to the mall just to see what's going on over there. It's not going to be a person that's going to play basketball on weekends. Maybe I will have a one-on-one on Shabbat. It's not going to be one of those people. A person that fears Hashem is constantly learning about Hashem. Now, the Saba Minavardok says that there was a teenager that in those days there was so much poverty that they would send the little Talmidim of the yeshiva to different houses to feed them. Anyone that reads some of the Sipuret Tzadikim, some of the stories of the righteous from our previous generations, see how much poverty they had and how much wealth we have in our generation. Mamash, if you compare the two, we're filthy rich. The poorest guy today is filthy rich in comparison to the people of the previous generations. Literally, if you wanted to learn Torah, you had to leave your parents' house for months or even years at a time. And they didn't send you there with like a bunch of money and clothes and so on. No, you took 1 or 2 outfits, if you owned 1 book at best, and a loaf of bread. That's it. That's what you had. Go, make it on your own, kid. You're only 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old. That's it. Now once you got to the yeshiva, you had to find a way. One of the jobs of the Rosh Yeshiva would be to find some family that's willing to feed you. He didn't have the money to feed you. Somebody had to feed you. So they would send the kids to different houses. Okay, you go to the Rubinstein's family over there. Every day from now on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you go over there. For Shabbat, you go there. Everybody would go to different houses. So Asaba Minavardok says there was one boy that was a tzaddik, had some emunah, had some bitachon. And every day he would go to this family, and every day they would give him a couple of slices of bread with some butter on it. And that was the food. And every day he would go to the same time, and he would have a couple of slices of bread with some butter on it. That was his food, Baruch Hashem. No complaints. Not like us, where's the eggs with it too? Says, it come with some, well, it's toasted, right? It's not like yesterday's bread. It's fresh, right? No. Whatever they had, that's what we ate. So, one day, he arrives at the house, and the Baalat Habayit, the woman that runs the house, she says, oh, I'm sorry, son, the cat ate your slice of butter, so I only have bread for you today. So the boy says, no, the cat didn't eat my slice. And the woman goes, no, I saw it. The cat ate your slice. Boy responds, no, he didn't eat my slice. So the woman got the message, she started doing some accounting. Goes, wait a minute. If he's saying he didn't eat my slice, meaning his slice, is he referring that really the cat ate my slice and I'm taking his slice? This little chutzpan, this rude little kid should be grateful. So she was getting a little bit, feisty with him. He go, hey, he ate your slice. I saw it. And the boy says, no, ma'am. The cat didn't eat my slice. She says, then whose slice did he eat then? He said, the cat ate his own slice. So the woman looks at him confused. His own slice? She goes, yes, it's his slice. If it was my slice, that means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that it's my slice. And no one in the world, needless to say, a cat, can take my slice. If he ate the slice, that means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that slice is his slice. So he ate his slice. Me, I wasn't given a slice from Shemaim today. What I have is the bread. And thank you for that. Meaning, Rabotai Kareem, when a person has bitachon, whether he's 14 or he's 40, he knows that whatever slice he has in his life, that's his slice, and nobody else's. And whatever he doesn't have is not his slice. It's not his slice. That car that he owns, it's his car, it's not my car. That house that he has, it's his house, not my house. There's nothing to be jealous of. Why? Because if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted you to have the house, you to have the girl, you to have the boy, you to have the money, you to have whatever it is that you're jealous of, guess what? It would be yours. It wouldn't be theirs. If you are jealous of it, in essence, what are you saying? What are you really saying when you're jealous? In essence, what we're saying when we're jealous is that we're saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a mistake. We're saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him my stuff. You look at his car, you say, that's my car. Why did Hashem give you my car and my wife and my house and my job? Hashem gave you my stuff. In essence, when we're jealous, the reason why we do not resurrect with the dead is because we have no place. No place next to the Shekhinah, no place next to the salvation, no place next to anything good. Why? Because we've been calling HaKadosh Baruch Hu someone that makes mistakes our whole life. We've been kufrim our whole life. Why do we want Hashem to, why do we expect Hashem to resurrect us? When we are jealous of other people, it's not just not having bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving us what we're entitled in, what we deserve, if you will. But worse yet, we're saying that Hashem made a mistake. And that, Rabotai, is one of the biggest things that a person needs to learn from this part. Now, bitachon is one of those things that you have to work on it on a day-to-day basis. It's not one of those things that you work on it once, twice, you're finished. Hopefully it sticks. And that's why the Bet Levi says that if a person works on his bitachon, it will prevent him from being stingy also, which is a shameful habit, a shameful midah. It will bring him to generosity. What does having bitachon have anything to do with being stingy? What does it have to do with anything with being generous? If a person has bitachon in Hashem, they know that really the only thing that's in our hands is whether we are going to be the vessel that Hashem does whatever He wants anyway. So if we say that there's an opportunity to get people to do tshuva, if we see there's an opportunity to get people to learn Torah, if we see there's an opportunity to do a big mitzvah, and we have the money in our pocket. It's not like we don't have the money. We have the money in our pocket, but we're thinking, wait a minute, I have $50 here, and that's all they need, $50. I have 50, they need 50,000, but the $50 is 50,000 minus 50. Okay, so the 50 will help something. I have $50. I can do something with this. But wait, maybe if I'm going to need the $50, maybe I'm going to need it next week. Maybe I need to buy lunch. Maybe this. Someone that has bitachon doesn't think like that. Why? He thinks, wait a minute. Hashem showed me a mitzvah. I have $50. I have 50,000. I have whatever I have. I have money to help that mitzvah. Done. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me this opportunity to do a mitzvah that He wants me to do. It's not like go do a party. It's not donate blood. It's mamash donate help people get their neshama back. Get Gan Eden. Hashem wants me to do a mitzvah. He gave me this opportunity. What about the $50 that I may or may not need in the future? That same HaKadosh Baruch Hu worry about that also. All of a sudden, the person becomes large, becomes generous. All of a sudden, he's in every campaign. All of a sudden, he's donating to all the good things. Why? Because he knows that Hashem gave you money to fulfill mitzvot. Yeah, but what about retirement? That same God that gave me the money to do all these mitzvot, I'll worry about retirement. What about life insurance? That same God that worried about this money and these mitzvot, Hashem, He doesn't kill me. He leaves me in this world for a long time because people need me. And when the time comes for me to leave, the rest of my family and whoever is going to have this insurance policy won't need an insurance policy. Why? They'll have all the blessings to benefit from. All of a sudden, he becomes much more generous. All of a sudden, he wants to do every single mitzvah possible. All of a sudden, he wants to do the will of Hashem every opportunity that he can get. But, like I said, Rabotai Yekarim, it's not just about having money. It's also about having merit. I see many times people donate an enormous amount of money to ridiculous campaigns, ridiculous things that, honestly, I wouldn't give 2 cents to. And you see it's ridiculous from a mile away. But people donate an obscene amount of money. Obscene amount of money to the most ridiculous things in the world. But when it comes to actually doing something useful, they never have any money. So it's not just about having money. It's about having the merit. That merit comes with our own tshuva. So the Bet Levi says, this bitachon will generate love of Hashem and attachment to Him, because the one who trusts in Hashem will not remove his mind from the one whom he trusts. When a person constantly thinks about Hashem, he's going to fall in love with Hashem. He's going to develop a bitachon in Hashem, a confidence in Hashem, because he knows that Hashem is the one that's running the world. He's going to find different ways to connect to Hashem. What's an example? When you're looking to develop your bitachon and your confidence in Hashem, that means that you're constantly looking for Hashem in everything. You got a job, you see, oh, this job, Hashem gave me this job. Why? Because Hashem knows that I need this job in order to do X, Y, Z. He knows that in this job, I'm going to meet at ABC. You meet somebody at this job, you go, thank God, Hashem gave me this job, because I wouldn't have met this person had it not been this job that Hashem gave me. And you constantly look for Hashem in everything. Arav Wolbe, alav shalom, he one day was sitting in traffic, and he says, during that time he was sitting in traffic, he was wondering, why did Hashem create traffic? Why did Hashem create traffic? You go to different places. You go to New York, there's constantly traffic. You go to Los Angeles, all they have is traffic. Traffic for hours and hours. You guys think you have traffic here in Florida? It's like kindergarten. In New York, in California, Los Angeles, all these places, San Francisco, traffic for hours. I honestly think there's literally little people, they're just sitting in traffic, they get into the car, they're in traffic until they have to come home. They don't want to go to work. They're just in traffic for the whole day. 9 hours a day, they get paid to go in traffic. So Rav Obi alav hashalom says, how come HaKadosh Baruch Hu created traffic? Rav Obi says, to help us learn about patience. Learn about patience. It's important to have patience. One of the things that you rarely find in people today is patience. This is the immediate satisfaction generation. Instant gratification. You want to press a button and God to show up. Not the rabbi, God himself. They want to develop a God app. You want an app, every question, every answer, every possibility of the question from the question, every grocery, every penny, everything you want on a button. People send a text message. If you don't respond within 10 minutes, like, is everything okay? Like they send you a question, I don't know, whatever question it is, and you don't respond for 10 minutes. The next they send another text. Question mark. You don't answer for another 10 minutes. Question mark, question mark. You don't answer again for another 10 minutes. Is everything okay? Can I help in some way? Should I call somebody? No, I had the phone off. I'm learning. I'm in a meeting. I don't feel like answering you. Why do I have to explain myself? Oh, you didn't answer. I thought everything... No, I died. I died. I was resurrected because of your text. Everything wasn't okay. But then Hashem said, no. Steve just text you. Get up. Let's go, Yaron. Back from the dead. Yeah, Steve, you have to... He asked you, what's going on today? Is there a shiur? So, you have to answer the text. Is everything okay? People want answers right away. Right away. You don't answer. They start calling you. They want answers right away. They want instant gratification. It's disease. And we're all both the victims of it and also the ones that actually do it ourselves. We're also the ones. We also expect everything. You ordered something on Amazon. It didn't show up in 24 hours. Dear Amazon, is everything okay? Check the shipment. Honey, did it show up? No. Is everything okay? You go on the computer. Let me check the tracking. Oh, yeah, it just went from Boston. It's in New York. Why is it in New York? Let's call USPS. Is everything okay? Is my package there? Who are you, sir? What, you work here? No. I ordered something from Amazon. Oh, let us check. Oh, honey, it's in New York. Oh, everything is okay. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Let's read Tehillim for the package with the tweezers to show up on time. Is everything okay? Constantly. Constantly, is everything okay? Someone sent me a text the other day. I think I was, I didn't have a shiur. I think it was a week ago. I didn't have a shiur on Sunday. And the truth is, I didn't feel well. I had a surgery in my mouth. It wasn't a fun day. And I just decided to tell a few people, just tell them we're not going to have a shiur today. Now, Baruch Hashem, I know who comes to the shiur. By now, I know all your faces. I love all of you. I know who comes to the shiur. I also know who doesn't come to the shiur. I must have gotten, I don't know how many text messages. Of all the people who don't come to the shiur, is everything okay? Is everything okay? There's no shiur today. I was going to come. Every other shiur, they never come. But that shiur, they were going to come. Is everything okay? Everything okay. One time you take off. Give me shiurs for 5 years straight. 2 days off. Everything okay? Rabotai, this is us. This is us. This is us. We have to train ourselves to stop being like this. Have a little bit more confidence in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and let Him run the world. Let Him run the world. It's gonna be okay. The package may be lost or it may show up a week late. The job may be given to you, maybe not. The shidduch may work out, may not. You may have a kid this month, you may not have a kid. The point is that just let HaKadosh Baruch Hu run the world. Everything is going to be okay. There's no reason and there's no need for you to just lose your mind, lose your cool, and just start doing crazy things. Start lying, start cheating, start passing lines, start doing all types of things that really are just wrong. People cut other people in line. Why? Because they want to make it on time. Yeah, but don't you think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to decide when you're going to make it, when not? You don't need to cut them in line. What Rabbi was telling us here, he says, listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to create traffic. Why? To teach us patience. Because once you have patience, you give yourself enough time to think who is in control of the outcome. Once you have patience to let things play themselves out, you have to do something with your time. It's not like, oh, I have patience, but I'm constantly busy with something else. No, being patient meaning you're okay that whatever it is that you want to happen is simply not happening. You pressed enter, and typically you're used to every time you pressed enter, something happening on a computer. When I was a kid, you pressed enter, nothing happened for 45 minutes. Today you press enter, 87 different screens open. You come to my house, you see my 4 screens. If I press enter or one of my kids presses on my computer enter, 90 screens open. This, that, it's like a spaceship. When I was a kid, you press enter, nothing. Or you see, the sound of the thing going to the internet for 45 minutes. And then finally you got there, it's like, oh, welcome. Oh, wow, where am I? Well, there's nothing to do here. There's no, the internet just started. There was nothing on the internet other than filth. Wow. Welcome. Emails? No. Nobody knows that I even have the internet. Nobody else has the internet. What do you do here? This world called the internet that has nothing there other than filth. Okay, I guess, nothing. See you later. You're off. You waited for 45 minutes for the internet to work for no reason. There's nothing to do. Now you press enter, you go to different websites, you go build a castle on the computer. Back then, nothing. Rabotai, but we waited patiently. Why? In hopes that something good will happen once we arrived at our destination. Today, everything happens quicker, but also at the same time, nothing happens. Why? Because even when we arrive at a destination, if we're unhappy with it, we are so used to getting immediate gratification and things that we want immediately that if it's not what we want, we simply abandon ship and try something else. Now, this is okay with apps. You have an app, you downloaded an app, it was free. You downloaded it, you don't like it, you delete it. Even if you paid a couple of dollars for it. You don't like it, you delete it. The problem is that people are treating relationships like this. They start a relationship, they pay $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 to get married, with the house, with the wedding, with the this, with the that. They get married, everybody's happy, you feed a bunch of strangers, 3 weeks later divorce, 3 months later divorce, 3 years later divorce. Why? Oh, we got into a fight. So? That's what marriage is. You get into fights, then you fix it, then you get into a fight, and you fix it. You get into a fight, and you fix it until you get along. You're 90 years old already. That's the point. No, I'll get something else, something better for me. We treat relationships like it's an app, like it's a website. We treat Hashem like He's a service provider. And that's the mistake. And that all comes from not having bitachon in the system itself. That's actually also comes from arrogance, that we can do better than what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants for us. And it's very, very important for us to develop patience and understand that we will arrive at our destination when HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides this is the time. There's nothing you can do about it. No matter how fast you drive, you will arrive at the destination of when Hashem decides you will arrive. Whether you drive 150 miles per hour or you drive 50 miles per hour, you will arrive at exactly the moment Hashem decides you will arrive. Wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, Rabbi. Don't you know math? 150 miles an hour and 50 miles an hour, of course I'm going to arrive fast. No. That's if you're a heretic, if you're kofar. You think that your car is the one that's deciding whether you're going to arrive there faster. If you think that, oh, we have another shiur. We'll send you the Torah and science. We'll send you some other shiurim. Why? Because you think that you're in control of your destination. What HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to tell us constantly when he says bracha and klala is that he's telling you, I am the one that's in charge of both. The blessing and the curse. Both are for me. Both are for me. If you are going to arrive, you will arrive when I decide. If you're going to get the money, you'll get the money when I decide. If you're going to get the shidduch, you'll get the shidduch when I decide. You'll get this when I decide. Everything when I decide. Yeah, but Hashem, can't I drive 150 miles an hour and get there faster? No, maybe you won't get there at all. You drove 150 miles an hour, but into a wall, chas v'shalom. Yeah, but maybe if I would have driven 50 miles per hour, I would have saved myself? No. Actually, that wouldn't have helped either. Because it wasn't the speed that decided the destination. It wasn't he drove 150 miles per hour and therefore Hashem took his life. He drove 50 miles per hour and therefore he was safe. No, there's plenty of people that die simply standing there. And there's plenty of people that die jumping off of parachutes. All types of people. Somebody asked a question about a parachute skydiving. In the last week, 2 people died. I don't know, they said some statistic that no one ever dies. Just today, the world's foremost expert in skydiving actually created a special suit for NASA skydivers. He died today. Now, he didn't die because he designed the suit, because he wasn't good enough. No, he didn't. He died because HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided he's going to die. Why? That's his cheshbon and shamayim. I have no idea. The point is, it's not the speed that decides how fast you get there. It's not even the effort that decides how much weight you can lift and how big you can be. What decides it is simply HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So what can we do? What can we do as far as our own, how do we contribute? In the following way. Number 1, accept whatever you have as is. You have this slice because it's your slice. He has his slice because it's his slice. Your slice and his slice will never change hands. This slice will always be your slice. That slice will always be his slice. Maybe one day Hashem decides to change things and give you a different slice, but that's not his slice. It may look like his slice, but it's definitely not his slice. You have your slice, he has his slice. Whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you, accept it as is. Face value, that's it. This is the only thing in the world that you can get today. That's your slice. If somebody took it, it didn't take it. It's their slice. They took what Hashem gave them. The fact that you held it for a little while simply meant that you had it for a while. It was yours for the time being until Hashem decided to take it and give it to somebody else. Yeah, but I want it back. Okay, well, ask Hashem. And that leads us to the second thing. What else can we do about our outcome? We can cry to HaKadosh Baruch Hu aside from fulfilling his mitzvot and fulfilling his Torah like he decreed in order to get the blessings and not the curses, but we can actually use these mitzvot, use this Torah learning in order to perfect our character. Remove all jealousy from our system, remove all types of negativity from ourselves, simply accept everything as a blessing, and perfect all of the negative things that we have about us. Every one of us has something negative about us. Some are arrogant, some are angry, some are stingy, some are this, some are that. Everyone has a few things that are not so good. Everyone has a few things that are good. Everyone has a few things that are somewhere in the middle. I promise you, if you do cheshbon nefesh, if you do some self-accounting, you'll find plenty of everything. So pick one that's not good and start working on it. Start fixing it. If you're stingy, start becoming generous. How could I become generous if I've been stingy my whole life? The Rambam says, start giving little amounts to a lot of different people. If you're really stingy, take $100. Give $1 to 100 different people. Yeah, but I give $100 to one place. They could use it a lot more than the $1. Yes, it's true. The $100 can be used much more by one person than the $1 by 100 people. The $1 by 100 people is not going to help anybody. Even the homeless guy says, give me $1, give me $1. He's really hoping you give him a lot more than $1. He's not hoping you give him $1. He's hoping for much more than $1. But he'll take the $1 anyway. And the $100 will help him a lot more. But the problem here is not him. It's you. You are stingy. So to fix that stinginess, the Rambam says, take the $100 and divide it among 100 people. How often? As often as possible. Every day, every week, every month, as often as you possibly can. Why? Once you get used to giving to a lot of people, you'll start eventually enjoying giving. And it'll lead you to actually become generous and start giving normal amounts to more people. If a person is already generous, already giving, start looking. Am I giving to the right places or the wrong places? What are they actually doing with the money? Is there any actual results that comes out of it? Am I saving people or am I saving puppies? There are people that donate millions of dollars to save sick dogs. There are millions of dollars being donated to save sick horses. There are millions of dollars being donated to save, some plant that's on the extinct list, or some bug that's on the extinct list, to hopefully preserve the 18 different special butterflies that are in Africa. But to save neshamot, very few. Why? Because not everybody has prayed for this merit. And that's why it's very, very important to do some cheshbon nefesh to see where do we stand really. Where do we actually stand? Do we have as much righteousness and merit as we thought and as we think about ourselves? How do we know? Just review the outcome of your actions. What good do you produce in the world? If you disappeared tomorrow, what would change? How many people would suffer as a result of your disappearance? I don't mean how many people would cry over you. I mean how many people would suffer. Suffering meaning that you're contributing to society. You volunteer 5 hours a week to this particular organization. You volunteer an X amount of your salary to this organization. You volunteer an X amount of your time to this family. You volunteer an X amount of resources to this. How many people depend on you? Oh, nobody? You're the only one? Okay, so if you die tomorrow, no one's going to notice? Okay, so what does Hashem need you for? How do you get a long life? Get as many people as possible to depend on you. It's not a coincidence that the Gdolei Ador tend to live very long lives. So we have to do cheshbon nefesh. We have to do some self-accounting. Where do we actually stand? As things go on, we evaluate ourselves, we evaluate what's happening in our life, we accept things for what they are, we accept things that are happening to other people as they are, and start finding a way to be happy for other people. You see somebody else getting married, buying a house, getting a nice car, a good job, find it in your heart to be happy for them. Why? It's their slice, it's not yours. It's not that they got it, therefore it's taken out of yours. A lot of people think that if competition opened up in the same block, that means you're going to have less parnasah. That's kfirah. That's heresy. Thinking that somebody else is stealing your customers or stealing your slice, that's actually heresy. You have to understand that whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to give you, that's what He gave you. So how could I change my outcome? How could I change my slice to be more like His? His looks more juicy. His looks fresh. Mine looks like it has a few green spots, like it's old. How do I get mine? That means, Rabotai, that we have to start fixing our character traits and then start praying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu after we fixed our character traits, after we've followed the Torah in order to get the blessings, then we plea our case all over again. By praying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that, look Hashem, I'm no longer the same person. When you gave me this god-awful job, where I was getting $5 an hour, I wasn't keeping Shabbat, I wasn't keeping this, I wasn't keeping that, I wasn't doing much. But now Hashem, look, I'm keeping Shabbat already for 6 months. I'm keeping Shabbat already for 6 years. I'm working on myself. I used to be really angry. Every time somebody looked at me the wrong way, you get a righty. Every time you look at me the right way, you get a lefty. Anytime you look at me in general, I say, okay, fine. Only if you look at me the wrong way. The point is, Hashem, I don't hate anybody anymore. I give them hugs now. I give everybody Hashem, I'm not the same guy anymore. I used to be stingy, now I'm generous. I used to do this. I changed Hashem. That changes the decree. Why? It's not that Hashem is changing his mind. It's that the destination has changed. The one that got the negative decrees deserved the negative decrees. Nothing in the world was going to change that circumstance. The tshuva that the person does has changed him to such an extent that he's no longer considered the same destination. It's no longer the same you, it's a different person. The old you, the one that used to be Mechalel Shabbat, wasting seed, doing this, doing that, yeah, he deserves all the punishment in the world still today. But since that person doesn't exist anymore, what exists today? Someone that keeps Shabbat, someone that keeps Torah, someone that learns every day, someone that comes to the shiur, someone that volunteers, someone that gives, someone that does all this good. Oh, that person deserves blessings, right? Torah says, I immediately give you blessings or curses. If you're doing all this good, I'm going to give you the blessings. So as we do tshuva, we ask. But don't ask, and do nothing. Because that just makes you look like a fool. It's just wasting your prayers. Those prayers eventually will be answered, but only if you don't lose momentum. A lot of times people make prayers their number one thing, and tshuva secondary, if at all. Tshuva should be primary, prayer should be secondary. Why? If you do tshuva, you're assured to have your prayers answered. If you pray constantly but you don't do tshuva, most likely you won't get your prayers answered, and even if you do, it's only after you've literally broken every single wall that's separating you and Hashem if you haven't given up already. Most of the times people give up because their prayer is not answered for so long because they haven't done tshuva yet. But that's where we need patience. That's where we need patience, and Rav Wolbe says that as soon as he realized at that moment that Hashem decided to create traffic for the sake of teaching us patience, he decided that from now on, I'm never going to hunk. I'm never going to hunk. I'm never going to look who's ahead, who's the first one in line. Why? If Hashem wants me to get to my destination at a certain time, there's nothing in the world that I can do about it. Whether I drive 100 miles an hour or I'm in traffic, I'll get there. He said on himself, that minute I got the trick, I got the point. But as soon as you say, hey Hashem, I got it, Hashem says, okay, game over. He says from that moment on, he's never been in another traffic. He's never got stuck in traffic again. Why? There's no point. The whole point of the traffic, the whole point of the test is to get you to overcome the obstacle. Once you overcome the obstacle, once you see, oh, that's the trick, that's the point, that's what Hashem is doing here, got you, Hashem says, okay, game over, next one. Next one. The traffic is only for people that still haven't gotten the point of why Hashem created traffic. Poverty is only for people that still don't have an idea of why Hashem created poverty. Sickness is only for people that don't understand why Hashem created sickness, and so on and so forth. What the Bet Levi, what Rav Wolbe, Saba Mislavotka, the Chovot HaLevavot, the Gemara, the 5 books of Moses, everything, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu in essence is trying to teach us is that bitachon is not simply a mere suggestion for you to live and have a better life. It's actually a life vest. It's a life vest for this thing we call life, because without it, we're simply drowning. We're drowning in our problems that are happening. There's so many of them that you don't know what to do with yourself. And unless you have bitachon as your life jacket, you're simply not going to know how to swim, how to manage, how to do everything. And at some point or another, we get stressed out. We drown in our problems. We're overwhelmed. It's a tsunami. It's a sickness. it's poverty, it's too much money, it's too many people interested in you. Whatever it is, the problems don't necessarily come always because of lacking. Sometimes problems come because of surplus. But the point is if we don't have bitachon that Hashem is running the world and He knows what He's doing, we're simply going to drown in our own mistake. And that's why the Beit Levi says that jealousy is not just necessarily something that you shouldn't have, because you shouldn't think that, oh, you should have this, you should have that. It's jealousy could branch out its roots into a lot of different places. Thinking that you should have something that really doesn't belong to you, or even simply being a khanfan, being a kiss-up, and acting a certain way because you're putting too much reliance on somebody other than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're disconnecting yourself from Hashem that way. And many, many other ways. The point is that once a person starts delving into each and every little word that we discussed today, you see that there is, mamash, a clear instructions from the Torah of how to live in Gan Eden here. Here. It starts with bitachon. Any questions? Yes?
You said something about if you have $50 in your pocket and there's a need for it to be used, charity, etc. If you have bitachon, you use it. That reminds me of a Gemara where there's a dispute of, I think it's whose blood is redder, or where the two men in the desert have to share one bottle of water.
Right.
So, on one hand, I shouldn't expect that if I need that $50, it should be, it won't be there. But on the other hand, it's my last bottle of water.
I didn't say it's the last $50. I said you had $50 in your pocket.
In my mind, I'm thinking if I have 50 in my pocket, that's all I have.
So you're not obligated. Again, it all depends on the level of the bitachon of the person. The Torah says many times in Gemara Masechet Yoma, the Shlomo HaMelech says, "Al tiyeh tzadik harbeh." Don't be overly righteous. Meaning you have to know where you stand. You have to, don't push yourself to a limit where you won't be able to stand the test. So you're not allowed to put yourself in danger when you won't be able to deal with the heat that comes with it. Meaning that if a person has 100% bitachon, if he has 100% bitachon, yes, they should give their last $50 without a second question in their mind. But guess what? They're most likely not watching this shul. They are living that life where they simply go to the supermarket without any money. Similar to this tzaddik that actually did it in Yerushalayim, where it's a very, very famous story back almost 40 years ago. Famous story where there was a bunch of guys that were protesting, tzaddikim that were protesting because they were giving land back to the Arabs and so on. They were kicking people out. Anyway, they arrested a couple of people and they were going to keep them in jail the whole weekend. So there was one particular tzaddik that wasn't blessed with money, but he had an enormous amount of bitachon in Hashem. And he decided that he's going to fulfill the mitzvah of freeing the prisoners. Freeing a Jewish prisoner is a very big mitzvah in the Torah. But he went to the police department. He says, okay, I want to free these 10 people. He says, no problem, $1,000. Now, $1,000, 40 years ago, is a lot of money. $1,000 is a decent amount of money today, but it's not a lot of money. 40 years ago, it was considered a lot of money. For somebody who doesn't have any money, $1,000 might as well be $10,000, $100,000, it's the same thing. Okay, he went to the Kehillah. He says, listen, I need to free these prisoners before Shabbat. It's already Friday morning. I need $1,000 from the Kehillah. I need to borrow $1,000 right now so I can free them before Shabbat. So the rabbi says, okay, but how are you going to pay everybody back? He goes, don't worry, I'll get you the money by Sunday. Get the money by Sunday? No problem, I'll get you the money by Sunday. Okay, you're saying you are a tzaddik. Everybody knows this guy's a tzaddik. He doesn't say things for no reason. Tzaddik. Everybody, 10 people got together. Each person gave $100. They gave him $1,000. He went to the police department. $1,000. Freed the prisoners. Baruch Hashem. Come Sunday, the guy that tells the story was the guy that watched the whole thing, was with him the whole time. He says, if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. This tzaddik, which I forget his name, he says to his friend, he goes, come on, you want to come with me? He goes, what? We're going to go have a Sudat Odaya. A what? He we're going to have a special feast. We're going to have a special feast in the fields over, and we're going to have a special feast over there in Tveria. Why? To celebrate, to thank Kadosh Baruch Hu for giving us such an opportunity to free the prisoners. Baruch Hashem. Okay, fine, let's go. Well, how are we going to get there? He goes, let's get a taxi. Taxi all the way to Tveria? Yeah, let's go to Tveria. What's the big deal? What's the, if you have a car? Okay, let's go. Okay, fine. They go, haul a taxi. Okay, take me to Tveria. Yeah, Tveria, it's a big ride. It's a couple $100. No problem, go. They start riding, his friend is sitting over there with this tzaddik. Right as they're getting out to close to Tveria, he tells the guy, listen, do me a favor, stop by, there's a caterer, right at the beginning of the city, right when you get into the exit, there's a caterer on the left side, stop over there. Okay, fine, no problem. They stop at the first place, it's on another place, he goes, okay, come on, wait for us outside, we'll come back in a little bit. They go inside, he tells the guy, listen, he tells him a bunch of food that he wants. And his friend says, where'd you get all this money? He goes, what money? He goes, to pay for all this. He goes, I don't have any money. What? I don't have any money. So the guy starts getting scared. He goes, I don't have. He started looking in his pockets. He doesn't have any money either. Now, he's ordering a bunch of food for like a wedding. I want a hero this way, hero that, this, naknik, this, that. He starts ordering food like they're having a feast for 20, 30 people. So the Baal Habayit of the place with the food saw the guy's ordering a lot of food. It's early in the morning. He says, what's going on over there? What are you guys doing? You having a party? He goes, yeah, we're having a Sudat Odaya. Oh, it's for what? Because we're thanking Hashem for allowing us to do a big mitzvah to free 10 prisoners on Friday. He goes, wow, chazaku baruch. Those guys that got arrested, he goes, yeah, you freed them? Wow, chazaku baruch. You know what? I'm partners with you. Can I be partners with you on this mitzvah? He goes, yeah, sure, no problem. He goes, the food's on me. The food's on me. Oh, okay, fine. You know what? Let me take the food with you. So now, the food costs a few hundred. Nothing. They take the food to the car. He goes, wow, you got here with a taxi all the way from where you are? He goes, yeah. He goes, ask the taxi, how much is a taxi? He goes, taxi is probably going to be, by the time I finish the meter, probably about $150. He goes, hold on one second. Goes, gets the money, goes, taxi's on me too. Taxi's on me too. They go, they get to Tveria, they start setting up the table. And they're setting up the table, they're waiting for people to come, and as they see on top of the hill is the Baba Sali having one of his famous meals with people that follow him. All these rich people, Gvirin, this, that. And he says, I watched this with my own eyes. He tells the tzaddik that's next to me, has been doing this whole thing. He points at him, as soon as we get there, the Baba Sali points at him, he says, you come here. No words. We go to the Baba Sali. As we come one direction to the Baba Sali, a Gvir, one of the rich people, comes to the Baba Sali and hands him an envelope, closed envelope. The Baba Sali takes it from one hand from the guy, gives it to him in his hand. He goes, this is for you. Take it for the Rav, and he leaves. He takes the envelope, he gives it to me, he goes, this is for you and the other 9 guys. He opens the envelope, $1,000. If you have that kind of bitachon, do everything he just did. But not doing it, let's see if it's going to work. That kind of bitachon, you know it's going to work. How? That's the bitachon. If you have that kind, you give your last $50. You go to the supermarket without having even a credit card, let alone money. But we're not that. We're not over there. We're not at that level. So every person needs to know where they stand. So if you have money, then you know that you're okay as far as you're going to eat. It's not the last $50. You're not going to leave yourself stranded in the desert with nothing to drink. You have money to drink. You have money to eat. I'm not saying you have a 401k with enough money to live 6 months. That's not what I mean. You have money for today, you're okay. And let's say, for example, you have this $50 that perhaps you don't need today. You may need it in a week. You may need it in a month. But you don't necessarily need this $50. You give this $50. You give the $100. You give the $10,000, whatever it is. And if you want to build bitachon, bitachon is only built once you start stretching. Meaning, it's that, yes, I used to give when I had enough money for 6 months. Then it was 5 months. Then it's 4 months. Then it's 3 months. Then it's 2 months. Then you start living week by week, day by day could be. So the bitachon is built based on how much are you willing to have as a reserve, if you will. But the key is that the only way that bitachon is built is by stretching yourself a little bit more and a little bit more. But don't stretch yourself right away to the final line. Because even if you make it, it's not exactly, doesn't mean that you're going to get bitachon because of it. Because bitachon is only something that you can repeat over and over again without a second chance, without any questions in your mind. It's not like, okay, yeah, I jumped off the cliff and I made it. Great. Would you jump again? No. Okay, that's not bitachon. That's just craziness. That's just craziness. You jumped off the cliff. Good for you. You survived. Hashem had mercy on you. But it doesn't mean that you should do it. You should know first how to climb, how to this, how to that. So each person needs to know themselves, needs to know where they stand. But I can tell you one thing. When a person has bitachon, when he simply trusts that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what he's doing, it's not just those donations and those big leaps and big deals and big things that happen. It's also their day-to-day life. The Chovot HaLevavot says that the greatest benefit that someone that has bitachon gets is the shalvat nefesh. It's simply the peace of mind that you have all the time. What's shalvat nefesh? What's peace of mind? Simply, you don't lose yourself. You don't lose your mind. You don't get upset. Somebody cuts you in line. So? Somebody cuts you off. So? You're late to an appointment. Tried my best. I'm driving. There's traffic. Okay. Yeah, but the shiur is supposed to start at 9. It's already 8:59. You're not going to get there for another 20 minutes. I'm here. I'm in a car. I'm pressing the gas pedal. That's the best I can do. It's the best that I can do. I can't do anything else. And being perfectly okay with that. Being perfectly okay with it. That's bitachon. That's the benefit of having bitachon, where you have shalva. You have peace of mind. You're not one of these crazy people that starts cutting people just to get into the elevator faster so you can get to your floor 30 seconds sooner. You're not one of these crazy people that's jumping to get to the teller first so they could take your ticket and not his ticket so you can finish your appointment an extra 5 minutes faster. Like, simply just go through life as is, without losing your mind, without losing your cool. If the payment didn't come on time, okay, it'll come when it comes. Oh, I sent you a package. It was supposed to arrive today. It didn't arrive. Oh, is everything okay? I'm sure it is. When Hashem wants it to arrive, it'll arrive. Nothing that I can do will change that. Yeah, but that may not come if you don't. Okay, if I need to do something, if I get a notice from UPS or USPS or some type of PS to tell me that I need to do something, I'll do it. But until then, I'm going to continue with my life. I'm going to continue, and when the package needs to arrive, it will arrive. This, Rabotai, is a day-to-day benefit of having bitachon. You simply run through life not being lethargic and careless. That's not what I mean. I mean that you simply have a clear understanding that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running the world. He knows what He's doing, and it includes what's going on in your particular life right now. That is included in that list. So there's nothing to worry about. Everything is okay. The only thing that's not okay is that we haven't completed our tshuva yet. That's the only thing that's not okay. That Am Yisrael has not completed his tshuva yet. That's the only thing that's not okay. Everything else is okay. Everything else is okay. So that should encourage us, Bezat Hashem, to get closer to Hashem, to understand what He wants from us, Bezat Hashem, and to really have a true understanding of who runs the world, which is definitely not us. Anything else? Yes?
The Yetzer Hara, the Satan, and the Malach HaMavet, is it all one entity, or is it
Okay, like I said, it's all the same thing. It's all one entity. It's the Yetzer Hara, Malach HaMavet, and Satan. Gemara Masechet Brachot says it's all one entity. It's all one thing, just in essence wearing different uniforms. It's like, for example, one person having 3 different jobs. In the morning, he's a janitor. In the afternoon, he's a secretary. And at night, he's a TV announcer. There's 3 different jobs, same exact person, seeing, 3 different uniforms. That's what but the only difference here is that the Malach HaMavet is more like a CEO. A CEO of a brand new company wears a lot of different hats. He's the secretary, he's the salesman, and he's also the banker. So this is what the Yetzer Hara is. He has all these different hats for the same in essence, same position. But as far as our role is to make sure that we focus on not falling in love with our sins so much that the Yetzer Hara doesn't even have to work anymore. That's what happens sometimes. Sometimes we fall in love with the sin so much that the Yetzer Hara doesn't even have to do anything. We just do it by ourselves. Anything else? Yes.
If we believe that the theory of evolution is nonsense, does that mean we believe that every animal, every species was created on the same day? And when it says in the Torah, let the earth bring forth living.
What do you mean by a theory of evolution?
Well, because according to them, everything evolved from one another. Like there was water animals first, and then eventually evolved into land animals, which I don't even know how it's possible. And it took like millions of years for every species to.
Okay, so what you said and what you described, yeah, that is nonsense. As far as the world being millions and millions and millions of years old, and we all started from amoebas and molecules and things of that nature, yeah, that's nonsense. But it's not 100% nonsense, meaning that the Torah does talk about how there are certain changes in nature that have happened. For example, in the Gemara says that how does a person know which sheep are his? And it says the sheep that he sees with his eyes, anything that he can see with his eyes, the farthest one that he can still see with his eyes, it's his. So okay, so the Gemara asks, so how far can an average person see with his eyes? And they give a description that's approximately 18 miles. 18 miles. There's not a single human being on earth today that can see a distance of 18 miles. Needless to say, 1 mile even. We can't see. You can see light up to 10 miles in darkness, but to see clearly that the sheep 18 miles from now exists even, you won't see. It won't even look like an ant. You simply won't see it. 1,500 years ago, 2,000 years ago, people had that ability to see things that were very, very far away, which means that nature has changed. And many other things like it. So yes, human nature has changed. Certain animals have changed, have developed, but nothing changed form. Meaning, where evolution changes, where evolution is a mistake, is that evolution thinks that one species became another. The fish became a lizard. The lizard became a bird. The bird became, I don't know, a dragon or something. That never happened. But as far as different species developing themselves, yes, that did happen to a certain extent. You can even see today with breeding of dogs, for example. You see certain dogs that exist today didn't exist 500 years ago. Not because it wasn't possible, simply they didn't do the breeding that they did back then today. Oh, they didn't do it today, what they did back then, and so on and so forth. And also, human nature was slightly different. So, as far as certain parts of development, yes, that did happen. But it wasn't something changing a species. It wasn't a monkey or some type of ape or some type of species that resembles it that eventually becomes a speaking human being. That never happened. It wasn't a dog becoming a cat or a horse. That never happened. It's just certain things changed. That we can see, that we can tell, that the Torah even discusses. Even certain aspects of the Big Bang Theory are actually in the Gemara, Masechet Chagiga. I believe it's page 12a. Talks about how the world started simply with Hashem, and that Hashem decided to create the world, and he expanded and expanded and expanded creation until he said die, until he told the creation to stop, and that's why he's called El Shaddai. The God that said die, the God that said stop. So that in essence resembles the Big Bang, that the universe is expanding and so on. But their problem is that they think that the universe is continuing to expand. The truth is that Hashem said stop, which means it's not expanding anymore. So there are parts of evolution, of the Big Bang Theory, and different aspects of it that do exist, that are valid, but that's also what makes the lie more dangerous, that it has some inkling of truth to it. Same thing with Christianity, same thing with Catholicism or Islam or other big lies. The Gemara in Masechet Shabbat says, why is the kuf, why is it shaped this way? The kuf, the letter kuf, it's like a resh, and then it has one line. It says that stands for sheker. Sheker has one leg. Meaning, why does it have one leg? It has, because every life, for it to exist, it has to have at least one leg. What about emet? Emet, it starts with aleph. Aleph has two legs. And the taf has two legs. All the letters that make up sheker have one leg. All the letters that make up the word emet have two legs. Because for it to be a truth, it has to have two legs, a real foundation. For it to be a lie, it has to have one leg. Wait, shouldn't it have no legs? No, it cannot be anything. Without a single leg, it simply wouldn't exist. No, if I told you, listen, the sky right now is burgundy with rainbows and little ice cream pops on it. Within 3 seconds, everybody's going to go outside, see that I'm completely out of my mind, and that's it. It's no longer a lie. But if I told you the clouds right now are out, and the clouds look a shade of purple, well, that's believable. Why? There's most likely clouds outside. And it is possible for the clouds to have certain purple if the moon looks a certain way, there's a certain shade. It's possible. So it has a leg to it, even if there's no clouds whatsoever. It's possible. It's believable. That's what Christianity has. Christianity has the Torah as the Old Testament. That's the believable, the valid part. So then it builds whatever nonsense on it as well. Islam, same thing. Evolution and all of the other scientific theories, if you will, have to have some type of leg to stand on in order to build on. And they all do. They all do have some leg. It doesn't mean that it's true. It means that it has an element of truth. But that's what makes the lie much more dangerous. The biggest lies in histories always have truth in them. The biggest lies in histories always have truth in them. If it's a big lie, it has to have truth. If it has only a lie, it cannot exist. Because you would simply find out it's a lie. Everything in the world that is a lie had to have some truth in it. So, as far as evolution and everything else, again, it all depends on what you describe. If you describe it like them, as evolution, then yes, that's complete nonsense. But if you describe it like the Torah, yes, it's completely valid. So it all depends where we stand. That's why I always tell people, if you find something interesting, look for it in the Torah. You like superheroes? Look for it in the Torah. You like snakes? Look for it in the Torah. You like anything you like? Look for it in the Torah. There's definitely some Chacham or Chachamim that wrote about it. All of the wisdoms that exist in the world are in the Torah. All of them. The 7 wisdoms in the world, all of them exist in the Torah. Anything that you're interested in is in the Torah. Anything is in the Torah. You want to learn about business? You have entire tractates in the Gemara that talk about business. You have entire books from Chachamim, from hundreds of years ago, talk about business and so on and so forth. Ethics, marriage, science, medicine, whatever you want to talk about. Animals, anything and everything you want is in the Torah. Everything is in the Torah. So there's the ones that are non-believers are people that invested an enormous amount of time looking at things that they're interested in through every single wisdom except the Torah. Meaning, someone that's a non-believer, let's say he's from Christianity, he'll be an expert in Christianity, but he'll know virtually nothing about the Torah. He'll know superficial things just to make his argument look real, make his argument look valid, but in reality he doesn't know anything. Why? Because to get Torah, to know Torah, takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's a lot more difficult than other subjects. But the point is that anyone that actually delves into the Torah always falls in love with it. There's it's never failing. And the reason why is because Torah says, "Bepicha u'bilvavcha la'asoto." It's in your mouth, it's in your heart to do it, meaning that you were created for this. You were created to comply with the Torah. Not that the Torah was created for you. Torah was created 974 generations before us. So it's not like we were created for the Torah. The Torah was created for, we were created to follow the Torah, not the opposite. So if a person invests into the Torah, they're always going to find any solution that they want. B'ezrat Hashem, we have our next year on Tuesday. We're going to go over, I guess it's the Geret HaRamban. And then Wednesday, it's questions and answers back over here. Tuesday, it's an Aventura. And Wednesday, it's back here, B'ezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.